Dear listener, before you turn the page, take a deep breath. Let your body settle and your mind soften wherever you are, beneath cozy blankets, curled in a quiet corner, or lying still in the hush of night. Allow yourself this moment of stillness. Now, gently close your eyes. Feel the present melt away like mist at dawn. Listen for the whispers of another time. Long before our own. This is not a fairy tale. This is a story rooted in truth. A truth heavy with sorrow, yet carried with immeasurable strength. Tonight, we travel together back to the deepest South. In the year 1853, you won't just listen to this story. You will feel it. The earth beneath bare feet, the sun on tired shoulders, the ache of loss, the heartbeat of hope. When you're ready, let this story carry you from the comfort of your bed to a place that should never be forgotten. This is a bedtime story for those who are brave enough to remember. 1853, the setting, Deep South, Mississippi Delta, cotton plantation. You wake before the sun, the air thick with dew and the heavy breath of another sweltering day. Your bones ache from yesterday's labor, and your back still burns from the overseer's whip, a raised welt that hasn't healed in weeks. You sleep on a bundle of straw inside a small, creaking shack that leans with age and wind. There's no floor, only dirt. No door, there's just a torn piece of burlap you hang across the opening. Rain leaks through the warped wooden planks, and the cold creeps in when the nights turn, but there's nowhere else to go. You live with your family, if you're lucky. Most don't. The cabin is no bigger than a shed. 2 rooms, if you count the corner behind the hanging sheet. You share the space with 4 others, and the only light at night comes from a clay dish with a wick floating in lard. You can hear the rats scuttling through the walls. You swat at mosquitoes and hope tonight they bite less than the night before. Your day begins in silence. You don't speak much in the mornings. Zrania. You throw water on your face from a rusted tin pail, then struggle a bit to put on the same coarse shirt from yesterday, maybe the only one you own, and head out before the first rooster crows. If you're not already in the field when the horn blows, you're in trouble. And trouble here isn't just yelling, it's blood. The field stretches so far it breaks the horizon. Cotton plants claw at your fingers until they're raw and bleeding. You work under the eye of a man on a horse, his rifle slung across his back, his voice sharp and cold. You pick until your sack drags behind you like a corpse, and then you pick some more. 10, 12, 14 hours under the punishing sun, sometimes longer. Your hands are never clean, your feet never dry. There is no such thing as rest, only brief moments where you hope to catch your breath without being noticed. But the labor isn't the worst part. The worst part is fear. It lives inside you like a shadow you can't outrun. Fear of the whip, fear of the dogs, fear of saying the wrong thing, fear of not smiling when the master walks by, fear of smiling too much. You fear for your children, if you still have them. You fear waking up to find your twin brother gone. He was sold in town for breeding. You fear hearing your mother scream as her baby is taken from her arms. You fear love because anything you love can be taken away from you in an instant. You can't help but to remember your dearest friend Isaiah. He used to sing in the fields, voice like warm molasses. Gone now. Sold last spring to a sugar plantation down in Louisiana. You never got to say goodbye. You never will. Your stomach pains have caused a cramp in your side from hunger. You eat only when allowed. Cornbread if it's a good day, moldy scraps if it's not. Maybe salted pork once a week, boiled greens from the garden out back, only when they're in season. Your stomach is never full. You eat with your hands. From a shared wooden trough like an animal, if you ever steal from the master's kitchen, you risk a lashing or worse. Still, hunger drives many to try, especially mothers with young, starving children. Emotions are not allowed, but in the night, sometimes you cry into your mattress of straw, careful to make no sound. Other times, you hum a tune you half remember from your grandmother, a lullaby from a place no one speaks of anymore. It's the only thing in this new world that feels like yours. And the grief. It doesn't go away. You carry it with you every day, everywhere. No console in sight. You carry grief for the children you birthed and lost. Grief for the language you no longer speak. Grief for the life you will never live. Grief that's soaked into the soil like blood. But still somehow, you keep going. You walk back to the shack when the stars come out, and you whisper a prayer no one taught you, but that lives deep within your soul. You hold your only remaining child tight and tell them, tomorrow, son, we make it through tomorrow. And in the deep South of 1853, that's all you can hope for. One more day. Several months and seasons go by. It is now the winter, 1853, down in the Mississippi Delta. It's been 3 full months since the harvest ended. Though the cotton fields are quite bare now, your calloused hands still remember the sting of the bolls, the ache in your spine, the weight of the sack dragging behind you like a ghost. 200 pounds of raw cotton a day, any less, you'd be punished. Now, it's winter, and though the deep South never quite freezes like you've heard of the North, the cold creeps in like a thief at night. It bites at your fingers, gnaws at your toes, then settles down in your chest like sorrow. There's frost on the ground when you wake, your breath rising in little clouds. Your limbs feel stiff and hollow. You sleep in the same cabin, worse now, with the wind slicing through the gaps between the boards. There's no fire, no insulation, just a thin, tattered blanket passed between you and whoever lies closest. When you stir in the morning, it's like rising from a grave. Your joints don't want to move. Your feet are cracked and blistered. Your breath rattles from your lungs, dry as dust. Still, you rise, because to stay in bed is to starve or be punished, or both. Work doesn't stop in winter. There's mending to be done, fences to fix, livestock to tend. You're sent to chop wood until your hands go numb, then sent to haul water until your arms give out. The work is different, but the cruelty remains the same. The overseer's voice cuts through the frozen air like a knife, and the lash still finds backs, no matter the season. The days are gray and short, and the nights are long and bitter. You dream of warmth, of silence, of freedom, but wake to the sound of coughing, children whimpering from hunger, someone whispering prayers into the cold. Lately, there's been talk in hushed tones, shared when backs are turned and stars are out. She's Coming through again, someone said, the woman in the dark. She who leads folks north. She's real. The rumors flicker like firelight, pass from one mouth to another. She's led whole families through the swamps, through snow, under the moon. She's got a pistol in her belt and eyes like steel. She never loses a soul. And now, the idea is in your head. It curls around your thoughts like smoke. Run. You imagine it, slipping away in the night, barefoot and breathless, hiding in the brush until the dogs pass, walking north with nothing but the stars to guide you, freezing, starving maybe, but moving, always moving towards something that belongs to you. But then the fear comes, like always. What if you're caught? What if they catch your sister instead, or your son? What if you die out there, alone in the cold, no grave but the woods? And what if they punish the others for your escape? You stare at your hands, calloused, cracked, trembling from the cold, and wonder if they were made to hold freedom or just to pick cotton, chop wood, obey. You want to run? You want to stay? You want to live? But you're not sure what that means anymore. Outside, a crow cries through the trees, and the sky begins to darken again. You pull the blanket tighter around your shoulders and listen, because the wind is carrying stories tonight, and you don't know whether to be afraid or get ready. Fast forward to spring 1854. We will call this the road to the unknown. You wake choking on your own breath. A rough, gloved hand claps over your mouth, and two others yank you upright. Cold, heavy iron wraps around your wrists and ankles, chains, heavy, rattling, unforgiving. You try to cry out, but the gag bites into your mouth. The iron collar around your neck holds tight, choking your voice into silence. You're dragged through the cabin door before your mind can make sense of it. The moon is high, pale and watching. The ground is wet with spring rain, but your bare feet are forced through the mud, stumbling toward a wagon, waiting like a coffin on wheels. You thrash. You beg behind the gag, but no one stops. No one looks. Your wife's cries are muffled in the dark. Your son's voice, high and cracked, calls your name once, twice, and then it's lost in the wind. The last thing you see before the flap drops over your eyes is your baby reaching for you, confusion in her face. She doesn't even know what's happening. You are gone before the roosters crow. The wagon moves through the night with no mercy. You jolt and bounce against other men and women, all bound, all silent. Some sob quietly into cloth gags. Some have already given up. You lose track of time, of direction, of anything that might help you remember who you are. Only the sound of wheels grinding over dirt, the creak of wooden axles, and the rattle of chains remain. The cold of morning creeps in like death. When the flap is lifted, the sun is up, and you are no longer in Mississippi. The new plantation is monstrous. The house looms like a courthouse. White pillars, 3 stories high, windows tall as men. There are gardens, stables, even a reflecting pool, and slaves. Dozens, maybe hundreds. More than you've ever seen. The tobacco fields stretch so far, they vanish into haze. They take your chains off, but not your fear. At first, it seems bearable. The work is different, more precise, but not harder. You're given food. Not much, but better than before. The other slaves are quiet, but not cruel. You settle into the rhythm again. You keep your head down. You try to forget what you left behind. But then she notices you, the master's wife, pale as cream, eyes sharp like glass. She watches you too long, lingers when she passes, makes comments just soft enough not to be heard by others. Every time, you pretend you don't see the looks. You take longer routes through the yard. You work until you drop, just to stay out of the house. But then, he sees it. The master, my masa, her husband. He doesn't say much. He just watches you. He also watches you too long, assigns you heavier loads, finds small reasons to beat you, tells others you're getting too proud. You feel the noose tighten day by day. You've heard the stories. Men hung for far less, beaten to death behind barns, buried with no name. Then, whispers again. She is coming. The woman from the woods, the shadow who walks at night and leads the willing north. You catch it in pieces. A coated hymn in the tobacco rose, a whisper behind the chicken coop, a glance passed in the kitchen. One of the house girls, light-skinned, green eyes, always watching, brushes your hand when she serves cornbread. She doesn't utter a word, but slips a sliver of paper in your palm. Later, under moonlight, you read it. The letter read, 3 nights. Be at the sugar shed. Tell no one. Bring only what you can carry. She's coming. Your hands tremble. Your heart hammers. You think of your family, your baby's face, your wife's tears, the weight of your son's voice in the dark. You think of the ones who never made it. You think of your body swinging from a tree. You think of freedom, of breathing without fear. And you decide, if the woman comes this time, you will go. This is the final chapter, the long, promising road to the north. It is spring 1854. 3 agonizing nights later. The setting is deep in the night. You wait in the dark, heart thudding like a drum inside your chest, looking, waiting. It is the 3rd night. The girl from the house is there. The air, it is thick with spring fog, and every sound feels louder than it should. The chirp of crickets, the snap of twigs beneath your feet, the low, swelling groan of the woods settling into sleep. And then she appears, not from the path, no. She emerges from the trees like she's part of them, small in frame, but wrapped in presence. A long, dark coat clings to her like a shadow, a wide-brimmed hat dipped low over her eyes. She moves like water, like wind, silent, assured, always, watching. She speaks little, just enough for you to know. She is in charge, and she does not turn back. Her rifle hangs across her chest. Her eyes are sharp, steady, full of storms and iron. You've never seen a woman look like that, like God molded her from thunder. She is not afraid. She has made this journey several times before. She tells you to move. You do. The group is small, 8 of you total. 2 older men, a young couple, a woman with a baby, and 2 boys not yet 15. You are the last to join. No names are shared, no questions asked, only trust, because trust is all you've got left. The girl from the house kisses the small baby, then turns away from the group. She is heading back to the master's home. You walk through the brush, then the woods, every sense stretched raw. The woman, she, moves ahead of you then, behind you, always listening. At one point, she stops, hand raised, and the whole group drops to the dirt like wind-blown leaves. A patrol wagon creaks down the road nearby, dogs barking in the distance. The woman holds her breath. So do you. Then, a cry, a baby, soft at first, then louder. The mother rocks the child, eyes wide, deeply panicked. The woman storms to her, grabs her by the arm. "I'll take no risks," she hisses, low and cutting. "Not one. You keep that child quiet, or we leave her. I'm not losing this group." You think the mother might collapse right there, but she pulls the baby to her breast, muffling the cry in her blouse. The woman watches for a moment longer, then nods. You move on. The journey is hell. You walk at night, crawl through brambles, swim through freezing creeks. Your feet bleed, your stomach growls. At every snap of a twig, you're sure they found you. You see men on horseback, hear dogs, smell smoke. Once, you think they're on your trail for sure. But the woman takes you off the road, makes you double back through water, bury your old clothes, rub pine needles into your skin to mask your scent. It works. At each stop, you're taken in by strangers, white, black, freedmen, Quakers, people you never dreamed would help you. In cellars, attics, barns, you are fed cornbread, hard cheese, water from a tin cup. Some give you boots, others give you new names. You are told not to speak, not to cry, not to pray out loud. You sleep in spurts in cold, dark corners, but always with one ear open, one foot ready to run. And the woman, she never sleeps. She keeps watch with her rifle across her lap and her head against the wall, always listening, always waiting for something to go wrong. But she never lets it. Then, one morning, it's different. The sun is already up. Birds are singing. There's a smell in the air. Not sweat, not fear, not smoke. Something cleaner, lighter. The woman turns to you all, eyes wet but voice unbreaking. "This is the North," she says. "You made it." You don't believe it, not yet. But then you see it, the way the road stretches without fences, the way the sky seems to open wide above you. You hear bells in the distance, a church maybe, and no hounds, no whips, no calls for your name. You fall to your knees. Someone sobs. The baby is still asleep, nestled in her mother's arms. You look up to the woman, her, and for the first time, she smiles. Not wide, just enough to say, "You're free." And though you know the world will still be cruel, that the journey is far from over, you breathe in that first full breath of freedom. And for the first time in your life, it doesn't burn.